सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Last time we concluded a very interesting section which established very nicely and ingeniously that there is no proof for duality. There is no means of knowledge that can establish duality. And in fact we are looking for the opposite, right? And that's why it is so radical, because one is looking for proof that there is oneness, because the duality is proved. How is it proved? Through the eyes. But really speaking, what do the eyes see? They see the name and the form. We saw that. And the name and the form, as we are going to enter this whole section, it's going to establish that that's a very surface level of seeing. Because when you focus on the name and the form, you're missing out the content. But when you focus on the content, you're not missing anything. Because that content alone is, and it is you. So you're not really missing anything. So further, let's see what he says. Who says? Yeah? Swami who?
I'm not Vidya.
Narasimha. See, I have to ask every month.
Narasimha Bharati.
Narasimha Bharati, yes. Yes. So, 65. न जीव ब्रह्मणो भेदः
न जीव ब्रह्मणो भेदः
नाम्ना रूपेण विद्यते
नाम्ना रूपेण विद्यते
नाम्नो रूपस्य मिथ्यात्वात्
नाम्नो रूपस्य मिथ्यात्वात् इति वेदान्तदिण्डिमः।
You can borrow this book if you want for the... There is there, yeah. Yeah, please take. So we have been seeing this refrain, na bhedaha, there is no difference between who and who? Jiva and Brahman. Yeah. Between Jiva, who is Jiva? Piva, full of leaves, yeah. This so-called finite, so-called limited, so-called sad, bad, mad individual. And Brahman, Brahman is this wonderful thing. It is the whole, but how can I be the whole? This is the whole problem. And therefore, all these verses, I think starting from 50s, late 50s, we have that. No, from 60. From 62. From 62 till about 66. Starts with this refrain. There is no difference between the individual and the total. And this was proved in so many ways. How? Very ingeniously. This was talked about just by looking at the 5 elements. Very easy to assimilate the sophisticated understanding of the whole in the Vedic tradition. Very easy to assimilate, because you're never away from the whole. But how do I know it? How can you prove it to me that I'm never away? What is around? Air. Inhale, it becomes my life force, prana. So this air, which is what is called Adi Bhautikam, we have done all this, I'm just recapping it. So this air which is around me, which I see as separate from me, that's how I can sense it. It is separate from me. When I inhale, it becomes one with me, right? And so I can look at that element of air from many different standpoints. I can look at it as one of the 5 elements. And then when I look at it like that, then immediately I am pervaded by it, because the 5 elements pervade this whole Jagat. It is everywhere. Where is air not? So then there is a certain kind of an all-pervasiveness. And we see in the tradition that all the so-called creation is not separate from the Creator, because that separation causes anxiety. So there is no separation. In fact, the Creator's expression is in the form of this Jagat, this universe. And the air is an expression of the Creator, non-separate from the Creator. So non-separate from Ishvara, and so this air which is there everywhere. And this air, I can look at it as one of the 5 elements, which is all pervasive again. I can look at it as prana, something that is my own life force that keeps me alive. But again, even if I look at it from the individual standpoint of prana, very quickly I become aware that other people in the room are also breathing, right? And they're not bringing a jar and breathing in out of it, their personal air canister. They're breathing the same air. They're breathing the same air, and so this my own prana which I have to protect becomes the pranic, the collective prana. Very quickly it becomes that. And then I can also look at that same air from the standpoint of the order of prana, or from the order of the 5 elements, both. From the order of prana, it always comes out. I breathe in, of course, but it comes out. It doesn't stay there and say, what has this fellow achieved? Why should I come out? It doesn't do that. There is a predictability about it. And even from the standpoint of the 5 element, when does air become prana? And when does air assume a Rudra form? Rudra means fierce form. When does it express itself in Alabama, Oklahoma, all these places which are reeling from all this, excessive of the air element in behaving wildly? And is this behavior random? There is no randomness in the universe, because there is an intelligence. And what we call random is because we are random with the use of our words. That's all. That's the only reason we call it random. Nothing random. There is an intelligence. I may not be able to penetrate it, but it's wise. It's the starting point of spiritual wisdom to give this the benefit of doubt and be able to see the intelligence in every leaf, in every form, in the elements, in the workings of my own body. Whenever there is pain, something is not all right, it is a signal. It's like a red light flashing. It's just a little alarm clock. Okay, something is not right. And that means that I have to rest that particular muscle or ligament or whatever is hurting. Perhaps there is a way of balancing that. So it's a signal. Take care of me. I'm not okay, the ankle says. Or the leg says. Or the hand says. And the back always says, you take me for granted. You don't even know I'm there. You don't even look at me. You only look at the front in the mirror. I'm neglected and I'm going to talk back. That's why my name is back, because I'm going to talk back. You see? These are all signals. And it's not, it's very easy to get angry and say, I was doing fine. Like one woman who is, in her 60s came and said, very upset. I said, what happened? Last time I saw you, you were wonderful. What happened all of a sudden? Says, since yesterday, day before yesterday, she said, I went to the doctor and I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. I said, oh, so why are you so agitated? Did they give you medication? Yes. Are you taking it? Yes. For 2-3 days I'm taking it. Is it agreeing with you? Yes. I said, then what's the problem? It's being taken care of. No, but till day before yesterday I was okay. Now I'm not okay. What happened? I said that was the manifestation. No? Because before manifestation, what is there? Unmanifest. Unmanifest, it's just that you happen to go to your annual checkup and the doctor did that, tied up a little thing and then did this and pumped it up and saw that it is high. That doesn't mean that till day before yesterday you were okay. You might not have been okay, but somehow it was brought to light. Correct? The manifest, and also how long will everything continue? Sometime it has to fall apart. Has to fall apart. Why? Because all the not you falls apart. You're not falling apart. Oh, I am hypertensive. That's what makes one tense. Yeah, I'm tensive, and because I am hypertensive, I become pensive. This is all not needed. So when we look at it objectively, in that high blood pressure, there is a message. There is a signature. Yeah. It's the autograph of Ishvara. It's a sign. It's a signature. It's a sign saying, perhaps slow down. It's a sign, it's an obvious sign. Slow down. No. I don't want to slow down. All right, continue. Face the consequences. That's all. There is a signature. There is a signature in the body itself has a signature. And the various parts of the body have various small and big signatures. Every plant, every fruit, every seed has a signature. And in fact, people who are herbalists know this. Like when you crack open the walnut, what does it resemble? And it's brain food. It's a plant signature. Brain food. If you crack here also, it looks the same. Same thing. You can sit and compare. Don't, but one can. But we know, we have seen pictures of the brain and we have seen it pickled in formaldehyde, and so we know that this is exactly what the walnut looks like. This is a signature. And then plants that are good for the lung, they look like lung. And there is a reason why we call it kidney beans. It looks like kidney, and it's good for the kidney. It's good for that deep strength, to build up the adrenal gland. It's very good. So like this, there is a signature of Bhagavan in all aspects of the universe. How can one say I am away from Bhagavan? How can one establish duality in the face of all this proof? What more proof do you want that you are connected? Nay, not just connected, you are one with the whole. And this signature is there in everything, including one's own life, if one looks for it closely and clearly. Yes. But we don't take the time. We are always in a rush. We are always in a big rush all the time. Hurry. Hurry up. And then what? Gone. This hurrying has to be let go of. And then when we slow down enough, thanks to another signature of the blood pressure, this is all Bhagavan talking in the body. Bhagavan has various ways of talking. These are all messages. And if you don't want to say the word Bhagavan, you can say universe, you can say so many things. You can say nature, doesn't matter. It's still that only. So Bhagavan has Ishvara's message. Ishvara has a way of different signatures. And Ishvara signs in many ways. We have to be alive, aware and present enough to read that signature. Oh, but I don't recognize Ishvara's handwriting. He has a bad handwriting. She has a bad handwriting. I can't read what is here. Sometimes it takes time. Correct? Yeah. When you get a love letter, supposing the person you love, your own child, or the person who is significant to you in your life, your friend, whoever it is, let's say they have a bad handwriting, but that's the only way they communicate is through notes. So they write you a note, and you love this person very much. You will take the time to decipher it, correct? You will take the time to read it, you will take the magnifying glass, and you will become a handwriting expert. And by the end of it, you will say, okay, this is how this person writes the N, so that other squiggle there must be an N because it looks like you match the different shapes and the forms in the squiggle. Why do you do that? Because there is a feeling of connection, correct? And you want to know what is being said. Here too, it's the same thing. That same feeling of connection, which one is not lacking. It is there in the whole universe, starting with my body. That feeling is there all the time. The connectedness is there. I have to give myself the freedom, the time and the space to discover this connection in a new way every day. Every day I see how this connection is speaking to me. And so then the handwriting of Bhagavan becomes easy to decipher whether it's taking place in the body or in the surroundings. Sometimes you have to sit with the note, Okay, a note has come, all right. I can't read it today, I don't know what it means. Maybe I'll not know what it means this lifetime. Maybe next lifetime I'll know. It's okay. The note is preserved. I take note of it. That's all. That's all it is. I slow down enough to take note of it. And this is the truth. For, especially I hear a lot of people say, there is no magic in my life. I just go to work, I come back, I run around, I take care of children, I go to sleep, I wake up. And it's just, I'm like this wind-up toy. In the olden days they used to have that. Now the children don't have to do anything except press a button. So that wind-up toy is very important because I just feel wound up in the morning and then at the end of the day I unwind and then to be all wound up again. So there is no magic in my life. Everything has become routine. There is nothing happening. Don't say that, because Bhagavan will get the idea that I have to speak a little more forcefully. Be careful what you ask for. You may get it. I told you the story of this woman who was preparing. I was going to her house for satsang, this family's house, and she was deciding on something big, I don't remember what, and then she said, "Oh God, there are no signs, I'm not able to see the signs. Please give me a sure sign, hit me on the head and tell me." And saying that, she opened the fridge. Now this was a potluck and a lot of people were in the house and who were coming to this satsang. And somebody brought this 2-gallon jar of apple juice which they had placed precariously on the fridge in between the thing. Thankfully it was made of plastic, that's why she lives to tell the tale. She opened because it was in between the door and the fridge, top of the fridge. And it really came, hit her on the head, bounced and rolled off into a corner. So be careful when you say, "I don't have magic, I'm not having magic, give me a sure sign." Bhagavan will oblige, very obliging. Yeah, nature will oblige because there is the connection. That connection is there, it's all one. So that's why this obliging can easily happen. And so really, it's better, the time is better spent discerning the magic that's already there. And it's all magical. The whole world starts to look different. I emerge out of this cocoon of sorrow and fear. And it's not like a cocoon that the fat caterpillar goes into to emerge like a butterfly. This samsari cocoon is a ever cocooning cocoon, a cocoon that never transforms because it is a cocoon of hiding. Yes, it's a hiding cocoon. And so therefore I have to be able to see that the proof that I'm looking for, this proof of non-duality, surrounds the very fabric of my life, is in the very fabric of my life. It is interwoven, that oneness is interwoven. And you only need small things to see that. What do you see? Sometimes this happens so commonly. You think of a person, someone whom you have never thought of in a long time, You just think of them, and then next time they are right there in front of you. How many times that has happened? Happens. And you say, oh, this is a random act. But this is a coincidence. Coincidence means two things are happening which are unrelated. But how do you know? Where is the proof for the non-relation? And in a way, you see this. You see yourself as a viable, conscious entity leaving a mark in your life and those of others and in the universe. You see that. That's why one has to live responsibly. You see that. You see yourself leaving a mark. And you see yourself affecting the lives of others. What you say affects, what you don't say affects. And because one has low self-confidence, one doesn't see the magnitude of these affectations. One doesn't see that. But really speaking, one is very powerful. And when you are operating from that place of power, connected to that power within, which is Satchidananda, you are operating from that place of witnessing everything, rather than feeling, victimized all the time. You operate from that neutral space, a benign and neutral space of witnessing. The whole world starts to look very different. There are Christmas lights all the time, yeah. Not just during the season, not just after Thanksgiving, but all the time. Because why? One is forever in a place of thanksgiving. That's why it's always Christmas, always lit up, always bright. And even my own sorrow, when I shine the light on it, what happens is that it becomes a signature. It becomes a blessing of Bhagavan in the form of signature. It shows me that perhaps there is something that I have to change, or some change I have to accept. Either I have to accept some change, or change something that I have come to mistakenly accept. Those are the only two possibilities. Yeah. But which is it? This sounded very good. But which is it? Can you tell me? You can tell me. Yeah. You can tell me. That's all it is. I have to accept some change. That I'm having a hard time with it. Or I have to change something that is leading me or has left me in a place of non-acceptance. That's all it is. Only two possibilities. That's not too difficult, is it? Yeah. So this is expression of Ishvara within. So even the sorrow, is like a fortune cookie. Yeah. You don't have to break because of the sadness. You break open the sadness to see what is the message inside. Fortune cookie you get after this. What Chinese food, yeah. And in China you don't get that apparently. Only here. Yeah, in China when I went nobody gave me fortune cookie. I was disappointed. Yeah. China, no concept of vegetarianism and no fortune cookie either. Yeah. I had a very interesting experience. I was there for 15 days for a conference, and it was too long, And then the way you order your food is that you go to the restaurant or wherever, this eatery. Sometimes these eateries are like Chinese dhabas by the side of the road. So you go there, and in a case, in a glass showcase, all the things to be eaten are displayed. Some, of course, you can't even think of eating if you are vegetarian. They are all curled and have tails and various appendages hanging out. And some of them, in some restaurants where they cannot afford to put fresh ones or display every day, the plastic versions are there, so you know what it's there. So plastic cabbage, plastic eel, plastic cauliflower, all side by side. And so you have to point to what you want to eat. And that recipe is a traditional recipe, and it comes with certain things. You cannot change that. So if I pointed to the cauliflower, they would immediately point to the beef, that those two only go together. I would say, okay, because no language, now what to do? Then I would point to the cabbage, and they would point to the eel, made me say eek. And then I would point to some other vegetables, cucumber or something, and that went with something else, so nothing else. Then finally I pointed to the brinjal, the eggplant. Then they said, yes, this we can make in some kind of sauce. 15 days and 15 nights, eggplant, and not even a fortune cookie afterwards. Eggplant over rice, next day eggplant under rice, same dish. Then I tried going to a different place, because thinking that maybe they'll have a different. And there also, then it became a game. I would point to the cauliflower, they would point to the cow. Then finally I would point to the eggplant, they would say, ha, yes. And it tasted exactly like the last place. I gave up. I said, okay, yeah, this is what it is, That also had magic. See how much we are enjoying the story after 15 years. 15 days. I never thought that we would be, talking about it after so many years. Wonderful. So, you see, that is what the whole thing is. Don't look for the proof for non-duality. Yeah, it already is. Already is. Because you are that sentient, all-pervasive,